but it was, yeah, technologically silly.
Yeah, I try really hard not to be that person, but I'm
Oh
fully
yeah,
capable of being that person.
yeah, I hear you.
Not my strong suit. Mostly I have to remember to get off the slides and back on them, that kind of thing, but it's okay.
I I work at a college called Farmingdale. It's on Long Island. It's a state college, New York State College, and I teach a class called Intro to School Counseling there, and they had never they had never done any hybrid classes. This was just before the pandemic. They had never done hybrid classes. And the other place I teach, New York Institute of Technology, we always had. We're doing like every other week on Zoom. Um, and so I started teaching over there, and my boss over there, the department chair, she like observed me one time on doing a Zoom, doing a class, and it was just it was her reaction was interesting in that they hadn't tried it as a department or even a college.
So
It
this was
was
before the whole,
This was 2019,
yeah,
18,
so
19.
nobody knew except
Yeah,
you
nobody
guys.
knew. Yeah. And but like I said, at New York Tech, we've been doing it for years. And and she observed me one time. I remember I was teaching from a hotel room in Syracuse or something because I was at a conference, and and it just plugged it in like Thursday evening or whatever. Um she just was so taken by the possibility.
Yeah,
And then a year later, we were just everyone was doing it full time.
no kidding.
It
Suddenly
was just,
there's telemedicine.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm meeting with my gastroenterologist online.
Yeah, that's something in it.
That's pretty weird. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we started a we had a student. I teach grad school at NYIT, and it's a school counseling program where you get your master's and you become a school counselor. And we had a student who'd gone to the Farmingdale psychology program. Farmingdale doesn't have a grad school; it's an undergrad school.
Hmm.
And we had this student Georgia who is like 90 pounds of crazy, and and just like total energy. And so she makes a sale between the department chair at the grad school and the department chair at Farmingdale to have a class called Intro to School Counseling at Farmingdale that the students can take as an elective in the psych department,
Hmm.
that they can cross register at the grad school for $200 and get grad credit too.
Well,
So yeah, so she makes the sale, and NYIT did it as a marketing thing to get students in their program because that's what they do.
yep.
And Farmingdale did it as a whatever. We got it. We got a new elective.
Right.
Um, and I've been teaching it for about six. I don't know. It's 2018. I got a class starts tomorrow. The
Wow.
spring semester. Yeah, and it's like always 8 or 9 or 10 students, and one or two of them, they're all going to go to grad school. They're all going to become school psychologists, school social workers, school
Cool.
counselors. They're all going to go to grad school somewhere and somehow. And so it's an opportunity for them.
That's
Um,
neat.
yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah,
So
undergrads are
did,
way different than grad students.
oh man, yes. So did, I mean, most of the folks that will be online with us also had to go online, probably one-on-one with students and stuff too during the
Yeah,
pandemic.
there was reports of, yeah, oh yeah, we did so many webinars, just everything from how do you do this to I can't remember what we called them. We would just have like open houses, like
Man,
after school, just check in, just check in. We did. I could go back to those days in the 2000s, in the spring of 2000 or 2020.
yeah.
And we were doing 8 or 10 of these a week, 2 or 3 a day. Sometimes just get on and talk, just get on and vent. What are you doing in
Community,
Buffalo?
this community had to be just invaluable during that time. I mean, and beyond, but
Yeah,
wow.
and they were just trying to get a hold of kids, trying to find kids, trying to
Ugh,
and yeah, and we live in an 8 to 3 kind of world, and that went away real quick.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
Educators live in pretty much once the buses leave.
right.
Um, yeah, it was an interesting time, and there was a lot of there was a lot of community just around the country. Like, how do we do this? How do we learn to do this? Massachusetts is doing this, and Vermont's doing this, and
Right, right.
a lot of chatter amongst the providers on how do we do this, and we learned a lot. We learned this, what we're doing right now. We learned this. We were
Exactly.
never doing this.
Exactly. As did I. We all had to learn it, I guess. Got repositioned for my dog. There we
Okay,
go.
what's his or her name?
His name is Summit. He's named after Pat Summit, the women's basketball coach of Tennessee.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. And I leave the chat open and there's always a little stream that goes, is that alive? Is it a real dog? And pretty soon we should start a fan club for Summit.
Jeez.
But we'll see. We'll see how he does today. He's been lying on the couch already a very long time, so he might get bored and leave, but we'll see.
Did you ever get any snow where you are?
We have none here. I live in like outside the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, but
Yeah.
up north where our sled dogs are, we have maybe 6 inches. So
Okay.
we are literally shoveling snow from the trails, from the woods onto the
For the
trails,
trails.
just to get enough to run a little bit. And like, don't break. Whatever you do, don't break. You'll mess up the snow. So we just fly in.
I was talking to this guy. I was on a meeting the other day. I know this guy. He lives in Buffalo, and he was. We were talking about it was a snow day, and some of the schools in the state were closed and whatever. There's people from all over the state on the call, like there will be today, and he said, "Oh yeah, we got three," and we go, "Oh yeah, we got like 2 inches here where I am," and he goes, "No, feet,"
Feet,
you know,
yeah.
and
That's in
everybody
our
goes,
way.
"Sam,"
Terrible.
he goes, "This Buffalo, we get feet."
Right.
We
Yeah,
got
it's
like,
really
we got
bad.
like we got 2 inches. It's kind of funny. I live in a community where there are a lot of recent immigrants from Central America, and
Mhm.
the kids next door there, it was snowing, and they're like hanging out the windows taking
Yeah,
pictures. It
cool.
was funny. Yeah, it was pretty
That's
funny.
fun. Yeah, there's potential rain even up north the end of this next week. It's just so bad.
After I talked to you about Boundary Waters, I remembered that we had gone over into Quetico,
Mm,
um, um, on the trip that I was on.
nice.
Yeah, it was just good memories coming back. It's kind of cool.
A little more rugged up there, tiny bit.
Yeah, this. I remember the scouts they were um, when we came back over onto the American side, there were motorboats, and on the Canadian side there were not, and so they had a chant, which I'm sure you've heard. Motorboats go so fast. Motorboats kiss my ass. And so this Boy Scouts, teenage boys,
Right.
and they were like chanting. It's like, stop it! You're gonna get.
Yeah, right. Start an international crisis.
We were. I just remember just portaging canoes, stuff that whatever. I was 20, whatever, so just did stuff.
Good stuff indeed. And some weirdos like me still are doing it all these years later.
Back in the day, everybody had they called them Sierra cups.
Yep, the
They were,
middle.
yeah, the metal ones. And you could just drink out of the lakes. It was just I,
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
think personally you still could. I mean, most of the time you could, but because there's a risk of Giardia, we always have to
Oh, yeah.
process
Yeah,
it.
this was in the late 70s.
Right,
So
right. Actually, if you know anyone like in the chemistry department or something, I have this idea I'm willing to give away as long as I could have the product to use, which is I think there ought to be Giardia test strips. So you like
oh,
put your water bottle in the lake because 99% of the time it doesn't have Giardia in it. And we're doing all this filtering. So, but it'd be like reusable. So they're not all over the boundary waters, but you just put it in, it turns green if you can drink it, red if you can't. Boom.
ah, ah.
I love this idea. I want to use it.
You should go on Shark Tank with that.
Well, I don't know how to make it though.
Oh, that's right. You got to know.
Yeah, there's that. That's why I said anyone can steal it. Just let me use the product.
We had a I'm still flashing on that trip because I met a kid on the trip. There was this kid Charlie who we canoed together. He was in my I don't even know what we called it, crew. We had nine people in the crew in three canoes, and
Mhm.
Charlie was in our crew, and when we got back, he got to be our kids were, let's see, late elementary school. So
Mm.
we hired Charlie as our babysitter when we came back. So he was our babysitter.
Oh,
And
wow, nice.
yeah, I mean, Charlie's 45 years old now, but
Right.
uh, older than that. That was 45 years ago. So Charlie's, oh
Yeah,
my God,
it's weird how that happens.
it's weird how that happened. Yeah, yeah, our
There,
kids were
someone
little.
has assumed what I call the fig leaf pose.
I see that.
It's okay. He provides some amusement.
We had um we had a dog a long time. She's in the backyard now, but we had a dog. Um, I met a guy. This guy I hung out with when I was when we lived in Texas. Um, we worked in the same shop together. We were in the Air Force, and this guy Luis, his dog had puppies, and Luis was moving to, and he had to get rid of his puppies. And so, you guys want a puppy? And it's like, we had two little kids, and so we got a puppy whose name was creatively Tippy. Anyway, we had her. I mean, Texas, Oklahoma, Texas. She moved to Long Island with us. And
Wow.
Tippy was a great dog. Yeah, she was cool.
Oh,
Yeah, she
love
was
that.
cool. Yeah. She lived to about 15, 14,
That's good age. You hear that? I'm asking him to live to 40.
40.
That's my
Did you hear the story
request.
about that dog that was supposed to be whatever, 47 years old or something?
I
There was
did hear
some,
that.
it was just no.
Can't be right.
Somebody's got a math problem.
Yeah, I think so. They counted backwards in dog years instead of forwards.
That's just so funny. Upside down dog.
Yep, that's him.
I
But
should
I
put
tell you,
my
if a garbage truck were to drive by right now, all bets are off. He would be like snarling at the door. So I just think as long as we have to do Zoom together instead of be face to face, let's just be real. Let's just enjoy who's buzzing by.
I'll be back in a minute. I gotta go do tech support.
Sure thing.
So, what's up?
Oh, we should go boys up. You stay here, okay? Leave it, leave it, leave it. It's okay. It's okay, Summit. Yeah, stay here. Did you hear something? It's okay. Can you please stay on the couch for this next hour and a half? Would you do that for me? You're a good boy. Yes, you are. Hello, Rachel.
Okay.
All set?
I guess.
Well, you missed
My,
it. Somebody actually walked by our, hi, Rachel. Somebody actually walked by our road here, so we had a little dog eruption, but he's calm again.
yeah. I'm sure protecting the.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, my wife has. I'm just saying this in case she calls me again. My wife has Alzheimer's, and so she spends most of her day playing solitaire on her computer, which is great. And I'm upstairs and she's downstairs, and sometimes something doesn't work right, so I go fix it and whatever.
Hmm,
So it's yeah. Anyway,
that's big. That's a big statement there.
uh-huh.
You know, Pat Summitt died of early onset Alzheimer's. That's why I named him that,
Oh, I did not know that. Okay,
to keep her memory alive. Yep.
I've learned a lot about the process, and I go to a support group. It's a
Good.
spouses support group. It's online, and
Yep.
so I was on one day, and I was ranting, and I said I'm going to turn in my caregiver's card, and one of the other guys goes, "You got a card?" It was
Sweet.
whatever. Learned a
Yeah,
lot.
that's a lot. My mother also has Alzheimer's.
Okay, so our process in these is I put up this. I got to do it. I put up the head slide. Let's see. Oh, I got a screenshot.
I think we both can, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I put this up. As an intro.
Okay.
Let me clean up my PowerPoint a little bit.
I love that photo.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
When I originally saw this training, I thought it was like how to train therapy dogs because I saw the picture of you and the dog, and I was like, oh, this is gotta be awesome. And then
And
it wasn't that, but at least we still get to see the dog, so I'm okay.
yeah, I can't say I blame you there. If that was the topic, I'd be super interested too.
That was like one of the more pop. We had a therapy dogs do sessions at our conference a couple of years ago when we were in Syracuse, and we couldn't. I mean, we filled the room up like a
Oh
couple
yeah.
of times. There
Oh yeah.
was a group out of Syracuse that goes into schools. I'm sure they're everywhere, but that's where we were that year.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, it was cool as hell.
Yep. It's just dogs are so amazing.
They're the best. There's this one counselor we just got at the school that's like right down the street from us. And he got his dog. His dog is now a therapy dog. And like whenever he brings it to work, he puts like a little tie on it. It's so cute. I love it.
Most of the most of the male counselors don't wear ties anymore.
Right. The dog you see in the picture here is not this one. It was he was her understudy, though he never quite caught on to how to be on stage, as he is demonstrating now by licking himself. But this one in the picture traveled everywhere with me, and she was in front of tens of thousands of people over the years speaking
Wow.
with me. And I'd tell her story, and then she would just scan the audience, figure out who needed her, and she'd beeline to them and like sleep on their feet and stuff. And invariably that person would come up afterwards with their story of why they needed that so badly that day. And she was some kind of healer, soulful dog, just amazing. But yeah, she was my speaking companion. This guy
Wow.
he's a virtual star. He's a little excitable for actually going places with me. Aren't you?
My son has a friend who's got a
I'm gonna
therapy
be right
dog.
back. I'm gonna grab a notebook.
Okay.
Hey, and my son's friend has a therapy dog, and he's a PTSD guy. He was I forget which branch of the military anyway. And his therapy dog stays with him. He can tell when, I don't know how it works. It's He can tell when his friend is not doing well,
Yep.
and a chemical, or I'm not sure how it works, but he saved his life a few times.
Yeah, I think that the PTSD dogs have given people their lives back. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a remarkable, remarkable gift. And they're so willing. I mean, this dog on the picture, it's what she wanted, was to just love on people and give them this goodness that she carried. It was just incredible.
So
She,
we had about 100 people sign up, and as I said, I never know how many are going to show up.
right.
And I I gave up really worrying about it. That was a big. I was like, I'm a numbers guy, and it was like
Yeah.
we had 98 people sign up, and only 47 showed up. What's wrong with them? And so I've gotten over that. It's not my.
You kind of have to. This
Yeah.
online stuff feels so optional.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you're just tired of screens, or I mean, I get it, I really do. But for those that show up, I promise I can keep it pretty lively because I get to speak about dogs as parallels for all things.
I heard an actress being interviewed. Um, she was a Broadway actress, and the interviewer said something like, what if the house isn't full? How do you? And she goes, it's the same show. She goes, I'm giving the same performance no matter who's there.
Yeah.
You know,
It's more about how engaged people are, I think.
yeah.
It's a tiny group, but they're really into it and responding and answering back and stuff. That's fine. There is for sure an energy give and take. And having done audience of
Yeah.
2000, I mean, there's something to it because there's laughter that ripples all the way to the back and comes back to you. That counts for something. But the bigger deal, I think, is just being really engaged. So, Rachel, do you have a dog?
Yes, I do have a dog. She is about 11 years old. She was a rescue puppy, and she is a pug terrier mix. And me and my husband, we actually just had a baby about 18 months ago, and we were like a little bit worried, like, because she's really super high energy, even despite her age. And we
Yeah.
were worried how she was going to get along with the baby, but the two of them, they love each other. They absolutely love and adore each other.
Oh, I love that.
Every chance my puppy gets, she goes over and like licks my baby's face. Like she could do it all day long. So
I too, he loves babies.
yes.
They taste so interesting.
Yes, absolutely. No, she's definitely the best. I used to go hiking with her and stuff when she was a little bit younger. I don't do that so much anymore. Because you can tell like she's like kind of struggling to get up the stairs and stuff like that. But if she sees a squirrel out in the backyard, make no mistake, she will try to run and catch him. So
You got her on board with glucosamine?
what was that?
You have her on board with are you giving her glucosamine?
No.
Oh yeah, you'll want to do that. It's going to help her get up the steps and things longer. There's all kinds of dog versions of it, Cosequin, stuff like that. But really, we give it to all our sled dogs when they get to about 10 or 11.
Huh.
Like
I'll have to look into that then.
Yeah,
people use it for arthritis, right?
yeah, same thing. It just
Yeah.
helps with joints and stuff. And
Yeah.
there's dog versions that have the right dosage for a dog, but
Okay.
yeah, strongly recommend it. We see just huge differences when we give it to our sled dogs and when we don't.
Okay.
He's 8 and he's on it every day just because it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. No, say if there's no negative side effects.
He's not. There, see, it's already worth your attendance.
So there, medical tips.
Right.
Yes.
The president's here. Hi, Marjorie. So
Yeah,
one of the things they've done in the state, Board of Regents meetings. The Board of Regents is the authority in the state that makes all educational policy, and all their meetings were in person. And you had to kind of make sure you got a reservation. You had to go to Albany. You went to this wood paneled room to the Regents meeting. It was very formal before the pandemic,
Mm.
and make sure you sat next to the right.
Oh
A lot
my.
of lobbyists were there, and a lot of business was done in the hallway, between sessions and stuff. It was kind of cool. And so now it's all online.
Right,
The
I'll have to chat.
yeah, yeah, the regents physically show up for their meetings, but they're broadcast around the state, so it makes it. Yeah, I don't have to drive to Albany, which is kind of cool. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of them are kind of an age, and so it's constantly unmute yourself, Regent Cashin, unmute yourself, Regent, so on. Because they're not so techy, so
Right.
it's kind of funny. Okay, I'm just going to start the intro. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for our webinar. We'll get started momentarily, as it says on the screen. We're going to be recording. If you are unable to attend or can't attend the whole webinar, put your questions in the Q&A, and we'll get started in a couple minutes as people are popping in.
Hi,
Hi,
guys.
Marjorie. Marjorie, you got the old logo.
Yeah, I know. I know. Listen, I'm proud that I was able to get this.
I don't even try. I just think, welcome to my living room.
It's exhausting. Tech just exhausts me.
Ooh. But I'm awfully glad it's around today for this, so I will try not to
This
be
is so
whiny.
true. See, this is the bright side
I
of
try it.
tech.
Oh, don't start now. We're just about to begin. This isn't a good time for a freak out. It's all right.
He knows what's coming.
Well, usually he's a big ham for the camera, but he's distracted because there's somebody walking and he wants to go bark at the window. The problem is he's been napping on the couch all day. He's a little tired of it.
Our grandkids got a dog during the pandemic, like a lot of people. And I don't even. It's something King Charles something. I forget
Oh
the
yeah.
breed. It's a small dog,
Yep.
and so they go away, and we'll go over and feed Bailey, let her out and stuff, and we'll go in their house, unlock the door, and go in their house. And I remember if you did that with our dog, with Tippy, she'd come racing out to see who was there and whatever. We'll be there for like a half hour, and Bailey will wander out to see what's going on, and she's just like just real chill. She's a good dog. But it's funny. It's like we go over to we got to feed the dog or let the dog out, and it's like we got to find her first. She's somewhere in this house. Pretty funny.
Pretty mellow.
She's very mellow. Yeah. I guess one of the kids is allergic to dogs, and so they got that kind of dog
Oh,
because it's more than I know about that right now.
just
But,
means they have hair instead of fur, so the dander is not carried as much.
okay.
This is a fur household. Can you see that he's leaning on my chair?
Aw,
Little ear.
cute.
Aren't you cute? Yeah.
now that our grown children are finally grown, meaning they're out on their own. I told my husband, I think it's time for a dog. He said, we
Oh.
finally we finally don't have to worry. No, I want to.
Did you have one when they were young? When the kids were young?
No, because at
Okay.
that time I didn't know the difference between fur and the other and
Here.
our son was very allergic to
Okay, okay.
fur, so I didn't know the difference between fur and hair. But my husband grew up with dogs, always, always. And true to God bless, may they rest in peace, my in-laws, the dog's name was Gimlet because that was my father-in-law's favorite drink.
Yeah, the grandkids dog is Bailey, and I'm not sure. I think
Yeah,
that's related. I
everybody.
think that's related to the Irish cream as well.
There you
Because
go.
because
Clarify, Summit is not the beer. This is the
Yeah.
basketball.
because my daughter-in-law's family they're like 100% Irish.
Oh, well, that's a good possibility then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's that color as well.
I have so much trouble deciding where to put the chat. Maybe over here.
Yeah,
Always in the way.
okay, I gotta make sure the live streaming is working. Then will be showtime.